This is so boring. Why are we even here? 8-year-old Olivia Bennett's complaint echoed through the modern art wing of the Metropolitan Museum. Her nanny, exhausted from a long day of trying to entertain an unentertainable child, barely looked up from her phone. Your mother said you need cultural enrichment, Miss Olivia. My mother doesn't even know what museum we're at. She just wants me out of the house. Olivia wandered through the gallery, her expensive shoes clicking on the marble floor. She stopped in front of a large abstract painting, all bold colors and geometric shapes. A small plaque beside it read, Metamorphosis, by Elena Volkov, 2024. On loan from private collection. This is stupid. I could paint better than this with my eyes closed. An elderly woman sitting on a bench nearby looked up from her sketchbook. She was probably in her 70s, dressed simply in black clothing, her silver hair pulled back in a neat bun. You think so? Olivia rolled her eyes. Obviously, it's just random shapes. There's no skill to it. Perhaps you don't see the skill because you don't understand what you're looking at. Whatever. Old people always pretend this stuff is deep. It's just messy. The woman smiled slightly, returning to her sketch. Art often appears messy to those who aren't ready to see its order. Olivia's nanny finally approached. Olivia, please lower your voice. This is a museum. I don't care. This painting is garbage and everyone knows it. What Olivia didn't know was that the elderly woman sketching on the bench was Elena Volkov herself, the artist who'd created the painting. She'd come to the museum to see how people reacted to her work, to sketch the viewers, to understand how her art lived in the world beyond her studio. And she was about to witness something that would test every ounce of her patience and compassion. Olivia pulled out her phone, snapping a selfie in front of the painting with an exaggerated, disgusted expression. She posted it immediately with the caption, Forced to look at trash art, kill me now. The nanny sighed. Your mother won't like you posting that. My mother won't even see it. She's too busy with her new boyfriend. There was real hurt under the bratty attitude, but that didn't excuse what came next. Olivia noticed a small rope barrier in front of the painting, meant to keep viewers at a safe distance. She deliberately stepped over it, getting close to the canvas. Miss Olivia. No, you can't cross the barrier. Watch me. A security guard started moving their way, but before he could reach them, Olivia pulled a pen from her pocket and reached toward the painting. I'm going to fix it. Make it actually good. Elena Volkov stood up from her bench. Child, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Why? Because it's art? Olivia made air quotes mockingly. It's paint on canvas. It's not that serious. It's serious to the person who created it, and it's serious to the museum. That's protecting it. And it will be very serious to you if you damage it. But Olivia had already made her decision. She pressed her pen against the canvas, dragging a thick black line across the vibrant red section. Time seemed to stop. The security guard reached them, grabbing Olivia's arm. Ma'am, I need you to step away from the artwork immediately. Olivia jerked back, but the damage was done. A thick black mark now scarred the painting. Permanent ink on irreplaceable art. What did you do? The nanny gasped, her face going white. Oh my God, what did you do? Elena Volkov approached slowly, her expression unreadable. She looked at her painting, at the mark this child had just made across months of work. The security guard recognized her immediately. Ms. Volkov, I'm so sorry. I was trying to reach them before. I know, Thomas. Thank you. She turned to Olivia. Do you know who I am? Olivia shrugged, though she was starting to look nervous. Some old lady? I am Elena Volkov. I painted this piece, and you just permanently damaged it. The color drained from Olivia's face. You're the artist? I am. This painting took me 4 months to complete. It was commissioned for an exhibition in Paris before coming here. It's worth approximately $200,000. And you just drew on it with a pen. Olivia's nanny was now crying. Ms. Volkov, I am so sorry. I'll pay for it. You'll pay $200,000? On a nanny's salary? The nanny shook her head, devastated. I'll lose my job. Mrs. Bennett will never forgive this. More security arrived, along with the museum curator. A tall man in an expensive suit who looked like he might have a heart attack. Elena, please tell me this isn't happening. Please tell me I didn't just watch a child damage your painting. You did, Marcus, right there. She pointed to the black mark, stark and ugly against her carefully chosen colors. The curator turned to the nanny and Olivia. Do you understand what you've done? This is a criminal offense. We're calling the police immediately. Olivia finally started crying. I didn't think it was real art. I thought it was just I thought anyone could make it. Elena studied the crying child. That's the problem with modern art, isn't it? People assume because they don't understand it, it must not have value. Because the technique isn't immediately apparent, it must not exist. She stepped closer to the painting, examining the damage. The pen mark had gone through the top layers of paint, would require extensive restoration if it could even be fixed. Do you know why I chose these particular colors? This specific composition? Olivia shook her head miserably. Because I was painting the feeling of transformation, the chaos of change, the violence of growth. I lost my daughter 3 years ago to cancer. She was 23. This painting is about the destruction that grief causes, and the unexpected beauty that can emerge from it. The entire gallery had gone silent. People were recording on their phones, but no one spoke. Every brushstroke represents a day of my grief. Every color choice is a memory. This wasn't random. This wasn't easy. This was my heart poured onto canvas. And you marked it with a pen because you were bored. Olivia was sobbing now. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. The police arrived. 2 officers who looked grim as they took in the situation. The curator showed them the security footage, the whole incident captured in clear detail. We'll need to take statements from everyone, one officer said. And ma'am, he addressed the nanny, we'll need the contact information for the child's parents. The nanny provided Mrs. Bennett's information with shaking hands. The curator estimated the cost of restoration, if restoration was even possible, at minimum $50,000. Possibly more. The painting might never be the same, he explained. Ink is nearly impossible to remove completely without damaging the underlying paint. Mrs. Bennett arrived 40 minutes later, her new boyfriend trailing behind her. She looked furious and embarrassed. Olivia, how could you? Do you have any idea how much trouble you've caused? I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't mean to. You never mean to. But you always do anyway. Elena Volkov held up her hand. Please. Yelling at her now won't fix my painting. Mrs. Bennett turned to Elena. Ms. Volkov, I will pay for any restoration. Any damages. Please, I'm begging you, don't press charges. She's just a child. A child old enough to know better. Old enough to read the signs, see the barriers, understand this was important. Please. I'll do anything. Elena was quiet for a long moment, looking at Olivia, who stood small and scared, and finally, genuinely remorseful. I want her to understand what she destroyed. Not just the monetary value, the meaning. She turned to the curator. Marcus, can we arrange for Olivia to spend time at the museum, watching restoration work, learning about art conservation, understanding what goes into preserving these pieces? You want her to volunteer? I want her to learn, and I want her to help restore what she damaged. Under supervision, of course. The curator looked stunned. That's incredibly generous. It's practical. Charging her accomplishes nothing. Teaching her accomplishes everything. Over the next 6 months, Olivia spent every Saturday at the museum. She watched painstaking restoration work, learned about different painting techniques, studied art history, and she worked directly with Elena Volkov, who took the child under her wing in a way no one expected. Why are you being nice to me? Olivia asked one day as they sat in Elena's studio. I ruined your painting. You damaged it. But in doing so, you taught me something important. That my art needed better protection? Yes. But also that education is more valuable than punishment. Elena showed Olivia photos of her daughter. This is who I was painting for. Her name was Sophia. She loved art, loved life, and she would have hated the idea of me being cruel to a child, even a child who hurt something I loved. Olivia cried as she looked at the photos. I'm so sorry about your daughter, and I'm so sorry about what I did. I know you are, and I'm going to teach you to channel that sorrow into something beautiful, like I did. The restoration of Metamorphosis took 4 months. The ink mark couldn't be completely removed, but the restoration team managed to integrate it into the painting in a way that almost looked intentional. Elena made the final decision to leave a trace of it visible. It's part of the painting's story now, she explained. The mark of a child who didn't understand what she was destroying, who learned better, who grew. On the day the painting was rehung, Olivia stood in front of it with Elena. The museum had decided to include the story of the damage and restoration in the piece's description, turning it into a teaching moment. I see it differently now, Olivia said quietly. I see the layers, the technique, the meaning. I was so stupid before. You were ignorant. There's a difference. Stupid means you can't learn. You've proven you can. Mrs. Bennett, who'd been attending many of Olivia's sessions, approached them. Ms. Volkov, I don't know how to thank you. Olivia has changed so much. She's kinder, more thoughtful, more interested in the world around her. She was always capable of that. She just needed someone to show her the way. Olivia looked up at the painting one more time. Can I keep learning, even though my time is up? Elena smiled. I'd be disappointed if you didn't. You have potential, Olivia. Real artistic potential. But more importantly, you have compassion now. You've learned to see beyond your own needs to the value in things you don't immediately understand. 3 years later, Olivia's own artwork was featured in a young artist's exhibition at the same museum. Her piece was a response to Elena's Metamorphosis, exploring themes of destruction and growth, ignorance and understanding. Elena attended the opening, proud of her unlikely student. Olivia's artist statement acknowledged her past mistake and what she'd learned from it. I once damaged a masterpiece because I didn't understand its value, she wrote. The artist could have destroyed me in return. Instead, she taught me to create. She showed me that art isn't about what's easy to understand. It's about expressing what's hard to explain. And sometimes, the most beautiful transformations come from our worst mistakes. As visitors admired Olivia's work, Elena stood beside her former vandal, now a promising young artist. You've come a long way from the bratty child with a pen, Olivia laughed. I have you to thank for that. You saved me from becoming a terrible person. No, you saved yourself. I just showed you the alternative. They stood together in comfortable silence, teacher and student, artist and artist, two people connected by a moment of destruction that became a catalyst for creation. And on the wall nearby, Metamorphosis hung in its place of honor, the faint trace of a pen mark still visible if you knew where to look. A reminder that even damage can become part of the art, if you're willing to learn from it.